Partners, let's come back together. Please finish your sentence. So I really listened in carefully. I'm not going to ask for a vote, who thinks what, because the answers are linked in our Bitly right now. So if you go to the second link, I've made that live, and you can check that against your conversations with your partner. And some of you were even starting to think, oh, what structure did I use if I used one of these structures? They're not the only structures. So as you talk with your partner, were you there? Was that pretty clear? Now we're apprenticing ourselves under these other 8th grade writers. These are students who did the same kind of writing that we're doing in this unit. So we're kind of thinking, okay, what might that writer have done? Why might they have done that? How does that support me as a reader? All of the work that you've been doing. Writers, we're going to do one more thing before we head off. Right now, take a look at your piece. Considering the 2 different organizational structures we have, where are you at? You have a couple choices. If you would like to try one of the structures that have been outlined today in these student pieces, go ahead. You might want to jot it on that sticky note, because you might not be absolutely sure that's how it's going to go for you, but there you have one more draft of what you've been doing. The other choice would be that you don't change much of what you're doing, but you do write a little bit more right here in this space. We're going to give a couple minutes. Go ahead and do a little bit of drafting, considering if the claim and evidence and commentary I'm starting to include on my topic in my own writing notebook might be formatted in a different way. Go ahead and give that a try. So some of you are actually writing that structure up at the top of your sticky note to kind of see if the examples that you're providing in your own writing might fit that way. Some of you are kind of writing over just to try it. Some of you are actually writing in between the lines in your notebook to try it that way. Sticky note doesn't work for you, and that's fine. This is what we're going to continue to do as we head off for our writing time. And I do want to just think about that, so I'm going to pull us back together for just a moment. You've got to start. Share with your partner really quickly, what have you tried or what are you thinking about right now? Go ahead and have a quick turn and talk. Let's come back together. Partnerships. Thank you. So today, as you head off and write, you will be continuing to develop your argument. And as you do that, you'll be considering how the actual structure of what you include, the order of what you include, impacts your readers. And you're going to think, what's the logic of my claim and what would be the best way to get my message across to my readers based on this topic, based on the evidence I am collecting. And you have those choices. So writers, as you head off, continue our work. Thank you. We are going to spend just a moment and do some more writing right now. So as we head off, just like in a writing workshop, colleagues, we are going to spend some time writing. As the teacher, we would be conferring with students right now. So we'll give about 3 or 4 minutes for you to do that and feel that before we draw the line and say it's another day. I will pull us back together now. If you could conclude that statement, that sentence that you're writing. So colleagues, we just dove right into that experience, and let me talk through that a little bit as teachers right now. You were just 8th graders living within the MAISA Argument Paragraph Unit, which is the second unit of the year, and you were about halfway through the unit. Now that's artificial in a lot of ways, isn't it? I mean, we were talking about work that we supposedly had done in the previous 7 lessons. You also had writing that was argument, because we needed to do this work and make it authentic and live how our students live, but you didn't know a lot about what was expected for evidence and commentary and things. So your sample didn't match exactly what the 8th graders would have, and that's fine. Hopefully, by living that example, we will have something clear to be able to connect a grammar mini lesson to, which is our next piece. So thank you for being flexible about trying that out technologically. There are a lot of people in the room who are going to be trying some different things to just kind of mix up some of those strong processes that we know are important, not extinguishing things like the active engagement time, but thinking about how might we get creative sometimes with the resources that we have. So just wanted to try that. Thanks for being a good sport. All right, so we're going to kind of do one of those things where we go to sleep, we go home, go to sleep, wake up, come back to school, and it's the next day, right? And typically, in our 8th grade class, right, we're 8th grade writers, we typically would be ready to move on to session 9 in that argument paragraph unit. Oh, but my teacher has gone to this grammar work group thing, and she's inserting some mini lessons into these units, and so instead of the next piece that's in the unit, we're going to do a little grammar piece because it fits so well right after session 8. So obviously Jen and Amy and myself have been really intentional about where we might put those models, and that is not one way. There's no concrete one way to do this. We just had a lot of things going in our mind. What is something that people could even draft about? How do we even create something that would give some diversity? And how do we support multiple grades of examples? So if you're here at the elementary level and you're saying, commentary, what? No shame again. Don't feel like, oh, I didn't put it in. No, because, you know, that's something that our 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th teachers, it resonates with them. So hopefully you feel honored in that we are giving you multiple examples. Okay, so next day, and we are going to debrief the actual mini lessons in just a moment. But next day, are we good with saying, okay, that was the writing workshop mini lesson that exists in a unit of study, and now it's time to think about how grammar instruction could support that. It's still going to be a mini lesson. It's going to feel similar, but I wrote this mini lesson to address the language standards within this text. All right, we good? Okay, same thing. Hey, writers, we're back and we're ready to go. You do need to come with your writing partner. You do need to bring a device. And I want to clarify, there was one of those terms, just like yesterday, that I said and I didn't define, and I'm sorry. One-to-one, when I ask that, means that you have some way, maybe it's a Chromebook cart or an iPad cart, or even sometimes, I don't know, maybe you have the luxury of having devices in your classroom, or a few of them where some people would be using that resource. Maybe there are some students who have assistive technology needs and you have those tools. So one-to-one means that every student would have a device at some point, and you know, it's a goal for some districts, and we're anywhere along that process and that progression. Some of us in the room are there. So you're going to come again with your writing notebook. We're going to think a little bit differently about something we did way back in our very first unit at the beginning of this year, right? And you need your writing notebook, a writing utensil, and a technological device. Please come and sit by your writing partner. Come on over. Oh, no, please, that's fine.